morning, church. Good morning, warriors, and welcome to today's Christian Market Watch. It's your host, Chillie, and today we're going to cover very interesting news on the crypto space, and then we're going to cover the markets in general and take you through a few headline news, so definitely stick around so that you don't miss out on this important update. Markets today are up. Following US Memorial Day yesterday, so it's good to see right now that everyone's kind of playing, and it looks like everyone is in a good mood. Across the board, everything is up. When we look at the US, the Dow Jones is up by about 600 basis points, S&P by 100, Nasdaq by 390, Russell 2K is up by 50. That's really good to see. I feel like maybe we are at the point where we have gone through a little bit of a pullback and mid-cycle correction, and maybe we are heading towards new trends. So I'm definitely looking out for trends like that. Hopefully put ourselves in the right side of this run. In particular for my Australian audience right here, the S&P is looking like it's gonna be set up really well for today. Is probably gonna follow whatever the US trend is, which, you know, we have the advantage here to just see what's going on there. As you can see, it has been coming up from the dip before, just like the other indexes that we see in the US. So I'm looking hopeful for the day ahead to see it trade up along with the market sentiment, which is quite bullish at the moment, at least in the short term. Okay, at least in the short term. What is really interesting is the Bitcoin price. As I woke up this morning, definitely has taken a turn from when I went to sleep last night. Remember how it was in the consolidation phase for quite a few days, almost like a week plus, I think, and trading up in between the 30.7k US dollars mark and the 28.5k US dollars as well. In that range, going up and down, and this morning it broke out. So whether it is a breakout into the upside or if it's a false breakout, that's what we're still all waiting to see. Let me take you to the charts. So you can see right here, this is the Bitcoin chart in US dollars. Right here in this little corner, maybe I can zoom in for you. In this little corner, we see it's definitely broken out of this consolidation phase where it was going up and down like I was saying before, and that is really amazing. We were saying that it was going to take a bigger move, and now it has. Whether this is going to be outlasted, we are still waiting, and it's at 31,632, which has well and truly broken above the 30.7k little consolidation phase range that we've been seeing here, but we are still yet to see this in a daily candle close. So obviously it's not the end of the day yet. In US time, we haven't seen this trend confirmed. We don't know if it's just a short term or long term, but what I can say is that the bulls are optimistic. What I suspect is last week, as the Dow Jones went up and the stock market started to recover, we didn't see the same trend reverse in Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin is just doing a little bit of a catch up at the moment, and as the stock markets go into a bit of an upward trend at the moment, I would expect that Bitcoin would continue because basically it usually reflects what is happening in the stock market. It's not really the safe haven asset and the opposite of the market that everyone kind of hopes that it is. Really, it behaves more like a tech stock. So all signs are green, all systems go today and everywhere in the market. So let's see how that plays out. But let us go to a bit of the headline news. I think this was published a couple days ago, but I kind of just saw it. What we did see is the China economy is taking a bit of a hit, the slowest revenue growth on record, just because, you know, in Shanghai and Beijing, we've been seeing some lockdowns happening, and this is no doubt the repercussion of that, obviously. So right now, restrictions are starting to ease in China, which is, you know, a good thing for anyone's economy, really, right? I would expect that hopefully this will set them up for a good quarter going into the future. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are investing in tech stocks also invest in the Chinese market in these specific companies, Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu as well. The same investors are investing not only in the US markets but also in China. That it. I mean, the company's total revenue is still 9% in the increase. That is actually very positive in this negative environment that we've been seeing anyway. What's interesting here is it's saying that retail sales fell further down in April, down 11.1% from a year ago, even worse than during the initial shock of the pandemic in 2020. To be honest with you, I would really say that this is still a continuation of the trend that we have had in 2020 as inflation hits the consumer. Even in China, people are feeling the pinch and they're probably spending more money on bills rather than on discretionary goods like in retail. You'll probably struggle to pay your energy bill first before you buy the new handbag that you were after. I guess we are seeing this trend worldwide. In macroeconomics, I just want to bring to your attention something that has caught my eye a lot. This is really pretty serious, so I just want to share with you what is going on in the bigger space, which will tell us what is happening in the next few months, years, even as we head into 2030. As you know, we previously talked about Davos and the World Economic Forum. For those of you who don't know what the WEF is, I would say definitely take a chance to research into who they really are and what they do. So this is really, from my understanding, the conglomerate, the team of social elites and the global leaders of the world who are so concerned about mankind and our future. You can hear my enthusiasm and sarcasm right here. It's the Australian sarcasm at work. So this is them who think that they are running the world for our best interest, and they will decide what will happen to the whole world. And that's why a lot of times you see the whole world's going on sort of similar trends, because basically these are the guys behind calling the shots, and they just had a meeting last week in Davos in Switzerland. So this is the Davos that we were talking about, and this is what they think. Okay, thanks to inflation and energy shortages are worth it. Basically, they're talking about how the global transition to clean energy would affect small and medium-sized businesses. Basically, it's going to hurt small and medium-sized businesses a lot and only benefit large businesses. You have to listen to what they don't say as much as what they say. And basically, these are the people that tell you and I that by 2020, so they're going to take 10 years to collapse the whole economic system, to kill the middle class and cause the poor to even be poorer, and maybe some of them will die off because in the evolution way of their Marxist thinking, these people are not worth living. And also the middle class, they want to turn, like, they hate it if there is a middle class, because the middle class is most likely to transition to the upper class as entrepreneurs work super hard. The entrepreneurs, if they work hard, they might get to where those people are currently in their financial status and stuff like that. So they hate those people, us, that's us. They hate us, and so they want to do everything they can to increase the wealth gap in between the rich and the poor. So when you're listening to what they are saying here in everything they say, you have to look at it through those lens and know that they have just a few key objectives. They want to make the poor even poorer so that they even die off, because they are all about birth control, and they think that the world has too many population and is eating up resources too quickly. But they're obviously not thinking about that when they flew to Davos, Switzerland for this particular forum last week, as they spent private jet fuel, each of them having their own private jets, and all flying to the World Economic Forum in the most unclean energy way you can ever think of, okay, and wasting a lot of jet fuel. Why don't they all just buy a commercial fly together? Oh, no. We're too important for that, you know. So these are the people who are saying these stuff. So they're saying, even if we kill small and medium-sized businesses, there will be some pain in the process, and the pace that we need to open up for missteps. You know, in their opinion, the fact that small and medium business thrive really well to protect the middle class and protect our lifestyle is a misstep, because we're consuming energy and resources, food, energy, whatever, in too quick a pace, because the middle class is giving birth to too many people, and that's taking up all the resources left in the world. Okay, so this is how they're thinking. It will open up shortages of energy, create inflationary pressures when they are doing all of the things that they're doing right now, and how they're treating the stock market, everything. And they transition to clean energy, which is not that clean. What they're calling clean energy, if you're looking in a physics kind of term, it's not actually that clean. They're probably doing the worst thing that they could do, and they are really wanting to ban coal. And they think that carbon is bad. They don't understand that well, we are made out of carbon. And the plants need these kind of things to grow. Like, the plants actually take in CO2. They probably missed science class back in primary school, okay? These people don't have a head. Coming from a spiritual perspective, I really think that this is incited by the devil. This is his system that they're running on, and they just listen to the principalities and the powers in the air, which is really wanting the whole of human race to go downhill with the devil. As you know, in the fall, he started with Adam and Eve and is continuing that same trend today. He just wants the whole world to die with him in sin, so that he can go to God and brag and go, sure, you might have sentenced me to everlasting fire, but look at all the people that I brought with me. What use is your salvation? So this is like the way that he wants to tell Christ, because he is not happy that God is a triune. He thinks that God should be only one person, and that person should be me. That's the way that he's thinking, right? He just got super proud, as we know, and in his super proud system, this is the pain that he's opened up. And unless we understand that he's behind this process, we don't understand the fact that this World Economic Forum has been established for years and always trying to go about this evil agenda, this horrendous agenda to bring world population to zero, in fact, eternally or in hell. So did you hear that? Basically, his article is saying a material decline in your standard of living with inflation costs at 25%, freezing, starvation, the inability to travel. They were just gonna lock you down, not let you travel all year so that they can save on fuel. Okay, this is the reason why we've had all these lockdowns. To them, this is all worth it. And New Zealand too, in this next one here, New Zealand hands out more cash to fight inflation. Imagine my surprise, okay? This government still going on this Marxist agendas. In this year's budget, government of New Zealand notes that inflation is causing hardships and they are handing more cash. Okay, can we just pause a second and think about what inflation's definition really is? Inflation is not an increase to food prices, okay? This is the way the common person thinks about it. But what inflation really is an increase in money supply. Let that sink in. Increase in money supply. What that means is that there might have used to be 1,000 units of currency, like New Zealand dollars or in the system, but now they made it 10 times. So there's now 10,000 units. Say in the whole economy, there were 10 loaves of bread. Okay, there used to be 1,000 units of currency chasing after this 10 loaves of bread, but now there's 10,000 units of currency chasing the same loaf of bread. That's why your bread price has increased in the same measure that the amount of currency units chasing it has increased. So that's what inflation is. I'm gonna spend more time repeating that for you, because it is a hard concept for people, individuals, the middle class, us, who have not been through financial education, through, like in the way that the market teaches us. They don't really even teach you that in uni, okay? Or college in the US. Basically, this is what it is. Inflation is an increase in the amount of money available, aka government printing money, just exacerbates the situation, as in it makes the situation worse. The more money they print, the more money we have chasing the same amount of bread, because the farmer is not just going to increase his acre size and plant so much more wheat to be able to make more flour to give you more bread. Woolies, Costco, and Walmart are not going to increase their bread aisle like the when you walk into the shops. It's not going to increase like 10 times really quickly, just because the government's printing 10 times the money than it used to have. Can you understand that? So basically, we have too much money, too little goods to spend it on. Let me put it very, very simply. Too much money chasing too little stuff. okay? Two little things that we use on a daily basis, and therefore the prices just increase crazily. A lot of insurers in Australia, you're about to see another 7% hike in your insurance bills, whether it's a car insurance or whether it's house insurance. 7 to 10% increase, I would say. I don't know how to keep your living standards up, really. The budget says that further targeted support is needed to help with the cost of living. Wow. So what they're saying is that we're gonna give people money, but only if we like them. Only if they're doing the right things by us. Only if they're getting the and only if they listen to everything we tell them to do, only if they slave away at a wage that is diminishing by 25% every year because of inflation, only if they become totally dependent on us will we give them this targeted support. Listen to the UBI, Universal Basic Income, connotations that they are wanting to institute upon this world to make sure inflation doesn't become worse. That's a lie, because what they're doing in the next step here is going to in fact increase the money supply and flood the economy with more free taxpayer money. You know what free means? Free means it's the taxpayer money that your generation doesn't have. How they get this free money? No money is free, okay? Every single dollar that's been printed, at least in the US, there is a rule in the US Fed that says that every single dollar printed needs to pay the people who own the Federal Reserve 4% in interest rates, no matter what. No matter if the world is going through a boom time or a recession, they need to pay 4%. So 1.04 times how many dollars they create is the amount of money that needs to be earned as a result of them printing that dollar. And it's the same thing in Australia, okay? And so how do you get the 1.04 when you didn't have any money to begin with? The answer is time, and you need to understand this. And if you don't understand this, I would highly recommend Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money. You can search that up on YouTube. Hidden Secrets of Money is a documentary series that is like a cartoon plus documentary series, easy for people who don't know anything about money or financial markets. I looked at that. I watched that documentary 2 or 3 times just to get my head around it, and I'll probably watch it another time to get my head around it even more, which is the 4% interest that you need to pay back on that dollar is stolen. Let me repeat, stolen from future generations. So if you were the first generation and you get the first dollar ever in your hands, that green bill, or like your first $100 in Aussie dollars, you need to pay $4 back. And they take that $4 from your future generation. So your son has to pay for you. Or you have to somehow make money and produce goods and services. But if it's free taxpayer money, that means nobody's paying for it. It's only stolen from the future generation. And they have been printing money for so long now. And the global elite's idea is that when we print money, like all the money goes into the stock market, they create a crash. So the people who are wealthy gets more wealthy, and they get that money that got printed. But you and I in the middle class, we don't invest, we don't anything, we just work hard, save money, and pay our bills. We don't get that money. So that free free money from the future generation, your son and your grandsons, now is probably your great grandson to the 10th or 30th generation now, because of how much money they've been printing in the cerveza sickness, to the point where they can never pay that money back. So your grandsons to the 30th generation will always be slaves of this money, because the money that they would have earned, the global elites from today have already spent it, and they need to give back that with interest of 4%, regardless of how much the stock market increases or decreases every single year. So that's the reality of money. You really need to know that. You really need to know that. And then you will understand the system of money that we're living in and why everything works the way it is, because this is basically the truth. It's a very well-kept secret from the mass public, because only the people with proper financial education understand what is actually going on, so that they can put things out in broad daylight, like that news that we just read here. And people would think that you're doing a good thing because they don't understand it's hidden in plain sight in between the lines. that this is what they are doing exactly to kill you and I and our grandsons, granddaughters to the 30th generation. This is the evil system that the devils put together. And the people who are not with God, they don't have a love for the people. They don't practice sound money practices like God has instituted for the Jews in Israel in the Bible. These people do these things exactly the opposite of the way that God wants it. And that's why we are going to have the problem worsen more and more until the US dollar completely just explodes or implodes, or whichever way you want to think about it, explodes in terms of how much money there is, implode in terms of not having enough goods and services for people to buy things. Basically, wipe out a whole middle class, wipe out you and I's life savings. It's going to be the biggest scam in the world. It is currently the greatest wealth transfer from the poor to the rich, from the middle class to the rich. Even okay, let me just tell you, they want to pay you $350. To me, that's not even enough to pay my rent, okay? Cost of living payment, $350. How long per fortnight? That's not even enough to pay my rent in Aussie dollars converted. This is US dollars. And if we actually go 70,000, this is $97,316 in Australian dollars. And the World Economic Forum is saying if you earn anywhere below this, 97,300 Aussie dollars or $70,000 US dollars in the past tax year, you are actually living in poverty. Period. Now, I know that a lot of Australians are earning only 50 grand a year, full time. I used to earn that. You're half of what they think it should be for you to even meet the poverty line. Let that sink in. I hope that provided value to you. If that did, remember to watch more of this in the playlist that is coming up, and remember to hit the like and subscribe. God bless you. Please, let's wake up and face reality. This is the only way we can prepare ourselves for the future and keep the church safe.